If you've been trying to get your muscle up for months, I guarantee you are practicing the wrong thing. It's not because your exercises are wrong. It's because you don't know why you're failing. Most people think the muscle up is just one movement, but it's not. It's 3 separate phases. And every muscle up that you fail is due to one of these bottlenecks. The problem is people don't know which phase they're actually failing at. And so the solution in their mind is just to watch another tutorial, try another drill, and they end up just trying to solve a problem that they don't even have. So in this video, I'm not just gonna show you the exercises, I'm gonna show you how I diagnose a muscle up, identify the bottleneck, and choose the right drill to fix it. What's up guys, I'm Isaac. I've been training calisthenics for 8 years now. I've been coaching adults to get their first muscle up, and I host national level calisthenics competitions all across Australia. One thing I've realized is almost everyone overcomplicates this skill. You watch one tutorial and they tell you to keep attempting muscle ups. Another one just says, learn the false grip and then just try to do the transition. So what do? Who do you follow? What technique are you actually meant to work on? The reality is they're actually all right. They're just solving different bottlenecks. So instead of asking, how do I get a muscle up? Start asking, which phase am I failing at? Because every muscle up comes down to 3 things. Can you generate enough height? What is your movement efficiency like? Are you capable of transitioning over the bar? Let's go through them. Phase 1, generate enough height. First question is, can you actually pull high? As a rough guide, I like to see about 8 to 10 pull-ups done with strict form before you start even training muscle ups. 8 to 10 dips just to make sure that you can actually press up. But the most important thing is an explosive chest to bar pull-up or a banded waist to bar pull-up. If you don't have that yet, technique isn't actually your biggest problem, strength is. So one of my favorite ways of helping my beginners get the muscle up is by mixing explosive bodyweight pull-ups and then heavy band assisted high pull-ups. So to start off, using your body weight, try to pull as high as you can. Only get up to your neck, then your next workout, you want to try and get to your chest and then get lower and lower and lower and use that as a reference point. Then as a completely separate exercise, you want to grab a resistance band, tie it onto the bar, put your foot through it, and then with similar technique, try to pull really, really high so that you can get your waist to touch the bar. The body weight builds force. The heavy band exposes your body to areas that you haven't quite reached yet. And together, they build the explosive pulling power that your body needs. Because at the end of the day, if you can't create enough height, then nothing really matters. And if you look at a waist to bar pull up, what a muscle up is from that is just and push and you're done. Phase 2, mechanical efficiency. Now, let's say you've got the strength. The next question is, are you using it efficiently? Because 2 people can have the exact same pulling strength and one of them gets the muscle up and one of them doesn't. And you can look at a bodybuilder, a power lifter, and an Olympic lifter. They might have the exact same strict press, which is basically lifting the barbell up like that. But one of them has bigger shoulders, one of them can lift more weight, and another one has a better push press, which is basically just using your legs and your body pressing up at the same time. Now, the reason why is mechanical efficiency. Now, going back into the muscle up, the first thing that I look at is the scapula. This is the bottom phase of the muscle up. So my question to you is, can you perform a really high scapular pull-up? Because the higher that you can elevate your scapulars, the less work that you have to do when you then incorporate arm bend. If you look at me do a really high scapular pull-up, you can see that my face almost reaches the bar. So that's already 30 to 50% of the movement completed without me even bending my elbows. The next step is, are you using your knees properly? Because if you're a beginner, you really have to drop the ego and use as many tools at your disposal. A small, well-timed knee drive isn't cheating. It's just helping you not get injured and to actually just break into the muscle up so you get the motivation, which then snowballs, and eventually you'll be able to do it strict. A good knee kip involves you doing a scapular pull and then driving your knees into your chest to create upwards and diagonal momentum. Now, the false grip is basically you getting your ulnar bone on top of the bar. Now, it's not a magic fix to getting the muscle up, but what it does is it reduces your lever length and allows you to transition over the bar much easier because you go from a pulling position like this to then doing a dipping position, and you don't have to actually dynamically switch your wrist over, which causes injury and is also harder. Now, when you're training false grip, you want to super compensate. So you try to do it as exaggerated as you can, because when you're actually on the bar, you'll just fall into an over grip, and that's better than a completely relaxed grip. But if you don't train false grip and you train over grip, when you try to hang on the bar and you don't have that strength, then you just go into a relaxed grip. They simply just help you get the most out of the strength that you already have. That is mechanical efficiency. Phase 3, the transition. If you're getting enough height, but you're still stuck, then we've found the third bottleneck, and this is the transition. And honestly, trying to just throw yourself and do like 20 muscle ups as attempts isn't always the answer. I'm gonna break the movement down instead. I love to use slow negative muscle ups on the bar and also on the rings. So what you do is you start above the bar, enter a very deep dip, as deep as you can go. Dive your head down so it's in line with your hands and the bar. So the exact same time that your elbows go down, you go from the normal grip that you're using for a dip to then shifting into a false grip. And then you want to use chest friction. So the bar should make contact with your chest. And then that's actually helping you go down more slowly because of the friction between your skin and the metal. You're teaching your body exactly where it needs to go. Ring muscle ups are also one of my favorite bridging exercises because the rings naturally let your hands rotate and it makes the movement way more malleable. Being on a fixed bar can be painful and it's really hard to false grip it sometimes. So having the rings really helps. And if I really want to know if there's a limitation in someone's triceps in getting over the bar, then I test what the Russian dip is like. A Russian dip is going into a deep dip position, shifting backwards, then using a mixture of momentum and triceps get up. It's like a very regressed version of the impossible dip. If your Russian dips are weak, your muscle up transition is weak and you're probably scared of the muscle up and not ready for it anyways. So here's the biggest thing I want you to take away from the video. Stop looking at the muscle up as one skill. Start looking at it as 3 separate phases. So if I was coaching your first muscle up, this is exactly how I would structure it. We'd start with weighted pull-ups. Use that as our progressive overload. It's how we objectively build and measure pulling strength. Then we'll move into chest to bar pull-ups. Now we're building speed because producing force quickly is just as important as producing force. Think about it like this. You can have a weighted glove and punch something as hard as you can, but if you're trying to box someone and your fist isn't fast enough to reach their face, it doesn't really matter, does it? After that, we'll do heavy bended high pulls. We're trying to aim for our waist to hit the bar. Then we'll use step downs and try to reach the bottom position, activating that stretch reflex to allow you to aggressively bounce back up. From there, we'll use box pulls in order to train that range of motion using the stretch reflex of the step down and the highest peak of your scapular pulls, doing it for reps. This is helping you build the movement pattern without having to worry about power output. Then we'll throw in band assisted muscle ups to help you gel that entire movement. And as you reduce bands, you can obviously tell that you're getting stronger. And finally, the most important thing is to attempt 1 or 2 muscle ups every session. You want to do this while you're completely fresh. You don't want to do 20, you don't want to injure yourself. Just make sure that it's really crisp, well executed movements, just enough to see if the work that you've been doing has, actually paid off. So every drill has a purpose. Weighted pull-ups build strength, chest to bar pull-ups build speed, banded high pulls build height, step downs teach the stretch reflex, box pulls teach coordination, band assisted muscle ups connect the movement, and muscle up attempts help you identify the bottleneck. If your bottleneck is transition, then you need to work on the negative muscle ups and even try doing banded ring muscle ups and ring muscle ups as well, just to add a little bit of flavor into your workouts, try something new. But that's exactly how I'd program it for a client. So if you've made it this far, drop a comment. I want to know what's the hardest part of the muscle up for you. Is it height, mechanical efficiency, or transition? I'll jump in the comments. I'll give you a little bit of direction. If you're still building your foundation, you should watch the next video that I'm about to make, because if I was in your shoes and I started all over again, that's exactly what I'd want to watch. So I'll see you in the next one.